We are hearing SRIMAD Bhagavatam. Today, chapter 18 of first canto. Maharaj Parikit cursed by a Brahmana boy. Sutta Uvach. Yo vai droni astra viplushto namatur udare mrita. Anugrahad Bhagavata Krishna Syadbhuta Karmana. Sri Sutta Goswami said, due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikit, though struck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. Brahma kapotitat yastu takshakat prana viplavat na samu mohoru bhayat bhagavati arpitashaya. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana boy. Here Srila Sai Maharaj is telling, a self-surrendered devotee of the Lord is called Narayana Parayana, means surrendered to Narayana. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. For him, nothing is as important as the Supreme Lord, and thus he gives equal importance to heaven and hell. He knows well that both heaven and hell are creations of the Lord, and similarly life and death are different conditions of existence created by the Lord. But in all conditions and in all circumstances, remembrance of Narayan is essential. The Narayana Parayana practices this constantly, one who are surrendered. That is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, Poshu poke hoye taki svarge baniroye, taba bhakti rohu bhakti vinoda hridoye. I may be born as an animal or insect, or I may be in hell or heaven, I don't mind. According to my karma, I will stay, but I do not mind that. I only pray that I may always have devotion to you in whatever birth. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told, Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatad Bhav. They are never praying for liberation. Always praying for devotion only, because that is main point. That can fulfill the soul. Even if you are liberated, you will not get this material suffering, but nothing positively you will get. So you cannot be satisfied, like Vyasadeva was not. You can be satisfied when you are Narayana Parayana, surrender to Narayana, when you act for him, for his pleasure. So this desire for mukti is also anti-bhakti. It is separate desire. That is why no real devotee will ever pray for mukti. What is your desire? And according to my karma, I have no problem with that. But I want to serve you. Also, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sridhar Pandit, you want money? He was very poor. You want money? No. You want liberation? No. You want 8 mystic yogic powers? No. I only want you should be my master, birth after birth. And Bali Maharaj, when he got feet on the head, then of Supreme Lord, then Bamandev asked him, okay, now you gave everything to me. You were a giver. So now I also want to give you what you want. Our Gurudev told, conditioned soul will say, what you took from me, that you give me. But Bali Maharaj did not say. He said, I want this lotus which should remain on my head. I should be in your service. I don't want anything else. Dhruva also, when getting darshan of Narayan, Narayan told him, what you want? I don't want anything. No, you wanted kingdom. He said, yes, I wanted, but now I don't want anymore. I got jewel, why I will take that broken glass? Nrsimha Bhagavan also told to Prahlad, you ask anything. He said, I am not businessman. I am your servant. I want your service. Or if you want to bless me, you bless me that I should not have any other desire except your service. And I said some days back that Vritrasur also, he was requesting Indra, you kill me so that I can go to my Supreme Lord, being freed from this curse. But Indra was always thinking he has some selfish desire behind. So it was no use to pray to Indra. He abandoned. Then he directly prayed to Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord asked, you want what you want? You want Dhruva Loka, you want liberation, you want ownership of this world, of lower world, of what you want? He said, I don't want anything. I only want your service. Because they are in knowledge what kind of taste that is. There is no any other happiness that can compare with that, and a full knowledge is there. All knowledge is there, and that is natural function. It is, once you get that, you have no any other desire, you cannot have. That is perfection for Jiva. So in that condition, also, they don't mind, and they are not afraid, like here Parikshit Maharaj, not afraid. Krishna is there, he is everywhere. Nothing can happen without his will, and he is all good. So whatever his desire, I am surrendered to his will. So he has no fear, as we will see also. So in all conditions, they only want devotion. Yes. Pure devotion is that what is required. Utsrijya sarvatah sangam vigyata jita samstiti vayasaker jaho shisho gangayam swam kalevaram. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyas, that is Shukadev Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead. There was also one Vasudev Vipra, he was a Brahmin, but he became a leper, but he was pure devotee. So he removed himself, isolated himself from village, he went outside and was living and all the time worshipping Krishna, chanting his name. So then Mahaprabhu, in short I'm telling, then Mahaprabhu finally he embraced him and he made his body. He never prayed for that, but Mahaprabhu did. Then he said, oh, now this condition is not good. Now I will become proud, so then I will forget you. Mahaprabhu said, no, you will not become proud. You are pure devotee. You have to always you chant, and you also have to preach this Krishna Bhakti. So here again you see the devotee is not requesting any material amelioration, means improvement, or liberation. Never. It has no value for them. Only value is association of devotees and devotion to Krishna. That is only what is value. That is why here also, Vritasur, after that, he said, but I am not such a devotee that you will directly come to me and I can serve you. So it is my request to you that according to my karma, it will go on what it has to go on. I don't mind about that. But it is my request that I may have friendship with your devotees. I may have association of your devotees because there I can get service of you. That was his prayer. Vritrasur. And there are other examples also. I had one in mind, but I forgot now. Means this is they only want this. Yes, one, I think maybe Kula Shekaracharya or some, maybe South India, Kula Shekar king. He was king, but he was pure devotee. He wrote Mukunda Mala Stotram. Pure devotee, king. So that Stotram, all Vaishnavas, they are quoting Rupa Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So in one of those, he wrote in Sanskrit that it is okay if I may be born as a kid, means insect. I don't mind. But let me have devotion to you. I don't want to be born as Brahma, being averse to you. So here again they are defining what is valuable. Brahma, to have a post of Brahma or to stay in Brahma Loka is the highest place in material 14 these universes. In material universe in 14 planetary systems, that is highest. One can get that place after perfectly observing sannyas dharma according to Varna Ashram for 100 lives consecutively. Perfectly. You can get that position. But he said, I don't want to be Brahma. I may be insect, no problem. But let me have devotion to you. So that is the value. Liberation also is no value. As we read from 4 Kumaras, when they got the grace of Narayan and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there in Navadip, they said before we were merged in that impersonal Brahman, being liberated from Maya, but by the grace of Supreme Lord, we gave up that sinful activity. Sinful activity. Why? Because there is no service of Krishna. We are his eternal servant. That is our natural position and function. That is what is necessary. There are so many examples. Here we will hear also in Bhagavatam. Shukadev Goswami said, I am Shukadev Goswami. Everyone stood up when he came. He said, I am Shukadev. I was realized in Brahman, but I became attracted to Krishna Lila. Atmaramas Chamuna. Even those who are Atmaramas, they also get attracted because that is superior satisfaction and function. They are both inseparable. From doing your eternal function, that is service of Krishna, you get bliss, ultimate bliss. So you need not do anything. You have to hear Harikatha. For 7 days I will speak Harikatha. You will get everything by this. Because Harikatha, I will speak for the satisfaction of Krishna, that is devotion, Kirtan Bhakti, and you should hear Harikatha. If you hear Harikatha, Krishna will be pleased. So by that you will get everything, by devotion. And he got. Notama shloka vartanam jushatam tat katamritam syat sambramonta kalepi smaratam tat padambujam. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. They don't run the risk of having misconceptions. Because already before giving up this body, they are already established in pure devotion. Like Narad, he was established, then he just gave up body. So our Nishkinchan Maharaj told you have to die before you die. Means you have to die your false ego before you die. It means give up this body. Then you will have no problem. So don't wait. Later I will do bhajan. No, now you have to do bhajan. You have to realize, you have to get Sarup Siddhi. You have to realize who you are, eternally related to Krishna, and constantly you will serve him when you are established in that realization. Then that is nothing. Nothing for you. You are above that. That is why devotees, they are immortal, in the sense that they, in their real self, they never die. And they are fully conscious of this. So that we have to do before dying. They are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet. Then when there is light, there can be no darkness, so they are not in risk of having misconceptions. Tavat kalir na prabhavet pravishto piha sarvata yavat isho mahan urvyam abhimanyava ekarat. As long as the great, powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. Yasmin ahani yarhieva bhagavan utsa sarjagam tadaive hanuvrito sau adharma prabhava Kali. The very day and moment the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, left this earth, the personality of Kali, who promotes all kinds of irreligious activities, came into this world. So there is no other way. We have to call Krishna. His name and Krishna are non-different. Only if we take absolute shelter to the name, who is the avatar now in this Kali Yuga, then we can be freed from the influence of Kali. Otherwise, we will surely, you can see the condition of the world situation, you can see what is going on. Only those who are surrendered to Krishna, they have no problem. But otherwise, this is there. Nano dveshti kalim samrat saranga eva sarabhuk kushalani ashu siddhyanti netarani kritani ya. Maharaj Parikshit was a realist, like the bees who only accept the essence of a flower. He knew perfectly well that in this age of Kali, auspicious things produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious acts must be actually performed to render effects. So he was never envious of the personality of Kali. Means if you think of doing good thing, you will already get. But if you think of doing bad activity, you actually have to do it to get that effect. So he was not worried about, he was not in competition with Kali Maharaj. Yes. Here, Sai Maharaj is telling, the age of Kali is called the fallen age. In this fallen age, because the living beings are in an awkward position, the Supreme Lord has given some special facilities to them. So, by the will of the Lord, a living being does not become a victim of a sinful act until the act is actually performed. In other ages, simply by thinking of performing a sinful act, one used to become a victim of the act. On the contrary, a living being in this age is awarded with the results of pious acts simply by thinking of them. Maharaj Parikshit, being the most learned and experienced king by the grace of the Lord, was not unnecessarily envious of the personality of Kali because he did not intend to give him any chance to perform any sinful act. He protected his subjects from falling prey to the sinful acts of the age of Kali, and at the same time he gave full facility to the age of Kali by allotting him some particular places. At the end of the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, it is said that even though all nefarious activities of the personality of Kali are present, there is a great advantage in the age of Kali. One can attain salvation simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Thus, Maharaj Parikshit made an organized effort to propagate the chanting of the Lord's holy name, and thus he saved the citizens from the clutches of Kali. It is for this advantage only that great sages sometimes wish all good for the age of Kali. And demigods, they want to be born on this earth in the age of Kali because this process is there. So, in the Vedas, it is said that by discourse on Lord Krishna's activities, one can get rid of all the disadvantages of the age of Kali. In the beginning of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, it is also said that by the recitation of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, the Supreme Lord becomes at once arrested within one's heart. These are some of the great advantages of the age of Kali, and Maharaj Parikshit took all the advantages and did not think any ill of the age of Kali, true to his Vaishnavite cult. Kim nu baleshu shurena kalina dhira bhiruna apramatah pramateshu yovriko nrishu vartate. Maharaj Parikshit considered that less intelligent men might find the personality of Kali to be very powerful, but that those who are self-controlled would have nothing to fear. The king was powerful like a tiger and took care for the foolish, careless persons. That is why those who are surrendered to Krishna, they have no problem. Then they, out of compassion, they also preach Krishna Bhakti to others all over the world out of compassion. Those who are real devotees, one is someone may preach for some worldly things, that is different thing. But when someone is established in devotion to Krishna and he is out of all problems, then naturally he wants to help others also, and he can do that. He can rescue them because he is rescued. But if I myself am drowning, how I can rescue others? So they are real well-wishers. They are protecting us by enlightening us what is that we have to want, what is real value We should not have any other prospect or desire. That is all cheating. We think we will be happy, and that is the solution and all this. But that is all cheating. It is Maya. Looks like water is there in phantasmagoria, but it is not. So those who are realized soul, they know this, but we don't know. So they come to tell us this. No, that is not. Real value is only devotion to Krishna. So you should strive only for this. You should desire only this. Nothing other things. That is all cheating to yourself. You will be deprived of your welfare. So those who are established in this, they can help us practically. I may speak big lectures and give logic and everything, but that will have no effect unless I engage myself in the service of Krishna. Example is better than precept. This is the proper way of preaching. Upavarnitam etadvah punyam parikhitam maya Vasudeva katopetam adya akyanam yat aprichata. O sages, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations about Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaj Parikshit. Yayah katha bhagavata kathani yoru karmana guna karma shreyah pumbih sansevyasta bubushubih. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the Personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. Shravan Bhakti. That is first, Ado Shravan. If you don't hear, so it's a mission, then you cannot do Kirtan Bhakti. You cannot speak about Krishna, sing his glories, if you don't hear properly. Also, we have to hear Harinam from real devotee. Then we have to repeat that name. So, must submissively hear all topics. Nam, Rup, Gun, Lila, or Supreme Lord. Rishaya Uchu, Suta, Jiva, Samar, Saumya, Shashvatir, Vishadam, Yasha. Yastvam, Shamsasi, Krishnasya, Martyanam, Amritam, Hina. The good sages said, O grave Suta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the Personality of Godhead. This is just like a nectar for mortal beings like us. Marjanam Amritam Hina, nectar of immortality. We are mortal. We are identified with this material body, but what you are speaking, that is Amrita. We will become immortal by drinking that nectar. Means we will realize who we really are. Then there is no more death. I, that real self, is never born and never dies. Eternally existing. This is all below this. Matter is always changing. It is below you. It does not affect your real self. Never. And a real self does not depend on this, on food and this, no. Separate existence. And we are only suffering because we are absorbed in this matter. No harm is done to the soul, but we are so much absorbed in this dreaming that we get this sort of experiences. But once you wake up from dream, then you see it was all false. All that laughing in happiness, all crying in unhappiness, all false. No connection with reality, no, nothing to do with me. Like a dream. So we have to wake up from this dream. In this way, we can be rescued, not by trying to fix the dream. Yes, we will invent that type of medicine that we will never get old, or we will do this and so many things. By material scientific progress, we will solve all the problems. That is all illusion. You have to be awakened from that dream, then there is no more problem. But you cannot fix this. This Maya is like this. And for being awakened, we need the grace of awakened soul and Shastra. Shastra is grace of Krishna. It is also living a person. So it has grace. Sadhu Shastra Kripa Jodi Krishna Mukha. If by the grace of Sadhu and Shastra, Shastra is not ordinary book. Like you will find Upanishads, they are persons. They have their forms. They are eternally existing and they are worshipping Krishna. Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. So, Radha Krishna. So, if we get the grace of Sadhu and Shastra, then we become awakened of who I am, to whom I belong, what I have to do, why I am suffering, what is my real, that Sambandha Avideya Prayojana Gyan we can get, and then that will solve the problem of this life by being awakened. Then there is no more problems. Karmani asmin anashvase dhuma dhumratmanam bhavan apayayati govinda pada padma savam madhu. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result due to the many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. In Yagya, there are many rules. How with time, place, and proper Brahmin, and so many things are there. But to hear Harikatha, it is natural and most effective, and to chant Harikatha and Krishna Nam, all this. So this is given importance. Our Gurudev also told that there may be some difficulties in other forms of devotion in Kali Yuga. That is why it was recommended Hare Nam Eva Kevalam, that you have to take shelter of the name. You have to hear it and you have to speak, and hear Harikatha and speak Harikatha. Then you are always in connection with Supreme Lord. And it is very easy and natural, and at any time, any place you can do. Especially Harinam. Shastra also, if you carry with you, then you can have. But chanting all the time you can do. Even in toilet or doing other works. When you are cooking, You cannot read Bhagavatam, but you can cook and you can chant. So all the time, Harinam, Kirtan and Smaran will naturally come. If you do Kirtan, proper Kirtan, then naturally remembrance of Krishna will always be there. Then there is no problem. So here they understood that you are giving this nectar. We did that, we wanted to do that, but we are factually pleased by the nectar you are giving. Tulayama lavenapi na svargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utashi shah. This is very famous verse. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. This is all temporary, so no value. Heavenly, that pleasure is long, but still it is temporary. And liberation is not under the influence of material time. Liberation. Still, you can change your position in eternity. You can fall down from that impersonal liberation, or you can accept the service of Krishna. But it is not under the influence of this worldly time. Up to Brahma Loka, Burbhuva Sva, then Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapo Loka, Mahar, Jana, Tapo, and Satya Loka. 7. Brahma Loka or Satya Loka, same. All this is under the influence of time, under the pressure of time. You have to sleep. You have to wake up. You have to eat. You have to breathe. You have to drink. All the time there is a must. Also, you cannot sleep unlimited time. You have to wake up. Everything is a must. We are slaves. We think we are free, but actually, if you observe, we are all the time slaves of body and mind under the influence of time. All the time, slaves. We have no 1 second free time in material existence. No free time. But those who are devotees, they are always active in the service of Krishna, and they are not under the pressure of this worldly time. Even Brahma is under that pressure. That is why those who are real devotees, they are not concerned about this loka, that loka, this. No. They are only wanting a moment's association with devotee. Because by the grace of devotee, we can get devotion to Krishna, and that is real value. Other things are not. So when real devotees, they are praying, they are only praying for devotion, and when they are blessing others or praying for them, they are always praying only for devotion, not for any other thing. If you go to sadhu and you pray to him for some worldly non-eternal benefit, our Gurudev told it is like a wound into his heart. Because sadhu appeared in this world only to rescue us from those non-eternal things, to take us to eternal realm. For that reason, he appeared in this world, to rescue us. And we are going to sadhu, and we want these things, poison. So he's very sad. And he tries to explain to us, this is not your requirement. That Angira Rishi, he came to Chitraketu Maharaj because out of compassion, he wanted to give him Brahma Gyan, knowledge of transcendental reality, eternal reality, absolute truth, Krishna. He wanted to give. But Chitraketu Maharaj was only thinking, I will be happy. I have everything. I have money. I have buildings. I have million wives. I have everything. But I'm not happy because I don't have son. If I would have son, then I could be happy. That was his idea. And he was all the time depressed, although having all things. And our Gurudev explained, it is always like this. Someone, whatever you have, you will never be happy. And always you will think, if I will get this, then I will be happy. And all the time is going. Maybe someone will not want son, but he will think, if I will get this house, or if I will have all this. But it is same for all conditioned souls. This is illusion. So, no, I cannot be happy unless I have son. So, Angira Rishi could understand that he is in illusion. So, he made arrangement for him to actually free him from that illusion. So, he made that arrangement because he wanted to give him Brahma Gyan. Okay, that Chitraketu was repeatedly requesting, I want son. Then Angiri Rishi said, okay, you will have a son. I am giving you a son. You give this kir to your wife. She will have a son. But this son will give you happiness and distress also. Then Chitraketu Maharaj was very happy because he heard, oh, I will get the son. So he's thinking that he will be happy. And he thought, I will be happy because I will have a son, and he may not be so good at school, or maybe he will be a little naughty or like this. So I will be a little distressed, but no problem. As long as I have son, I will be happy. But then that son died, and he was fully lamenting. His wife also. If you read Bhagavatam, we will come. That is, I think, 6th canto or something. I don't remember. But if you read, maybe 8th or 9th, something, if you read how the mother of that child, how she was lamenting, and how he was lamenting, you were astonished that it is possible to have such lamentation. How vividly it is described there. And what kind of thought all the time coming and all these things, there it is written. So then Angira Rishi again came, and Chitraketu Maharaj was so absorbed in those thoughts that he could not even recognize Angira Rishi. He asked him, who are you? So bewildered. Then Angira Rishi said, I am that same Angira Rishi. I gave you this child. So actually I wanted to give you Brahma Gyan, but you were not ready. You wanted to child. So I had to give you so that you will get that experience. Not that you will be happy by getting child. For that reason I gave. No, that you will get the experience of actual reality. One thing is your idea, another thing is practical reality. So since you did not want to listen to the truth, then you have to get this experience. So I had to give you that experience so that you will understand. Then Angira Rishi requested Narad Goswami, they came together, that you give him mantra for the worship of Supreme Lord. Then Narad is a bona fide guru. He understood that still he is lamenting. Even if I give mantra, he will not be able to concentrate sincerely, he will not be able to practice because his mind is somewhere else. So Narad Goswami again made some arrangement that he called that jiva to that body back. Narad Goswami, he can do that. Then he asked the jiva, "Oh jiva, oh, why you are leaving this place? You don't see how they are crying for you, your parents." Then the jiva first asked, "Which parents you mean?" "I had many parents. That birth, that birth, that birth. So many parents. Which parent you mean?" Then he said, "This one, you see." Then jiva spoke everything about how all this truth is there. Then when Chitraketu Maharaj, after hearing that transcendental knowledge of the truth, of actual reality from that jiva, being empowered by Narad Goswami. Narad Goswami, through the mouth of that jiva, he spoke the actual truth, transcendental knowledge. First Harikatha he needs to hear. Then when Chitraketu Maharaj and his wife and other ladies, they were also crying, other ladies who poisoned him. But crocodile tears, fake tears, they actually killed him. But now, when they heard the transcendental knowledge, then Chitraketu Maharaj and his wife stopped lamenting because they understood what is the fact. And those ladies, others, they were regretting why we did this, how we can be rescued. They were thinking from that sin. So then when he was ready, then Narad Goswami gave him mantra for worship of Supreme Lord. Then Chitraketu Maharaj worshipped and he became pure devotee. He realized Supreme Lord. And he then became Dhritarashtra Maharaj, before I mentioned Chitraketu. Parvati cursed him due to Leela to show the teaching to us. We will come. So that is why Dhritarashtra, he was not praying for anything. He was saying, I only want devotion to Krishna, wherever I may be. And a real devotee also will not give any other blessing except he will always wish and he will bless for devotion to Krishna. He will never say you get this, you get this. No, only for devotion. Unless it is required, as in this case, just to give him experience, otherwise he will not be able to realize. Angera Rishi had to give that experience. His target was not to give him that, but it was as a step towards bringing him to real benefit, as a step only. So the value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets. What is the use if I'm in heavenly planets or in Brahmaloka or wherever, if I don't get association of devotee and don't get devotion? And if I'm in hell, but I get association of devotee, then that is very good. Or a liberation from matter. Even that, there is no value in that, in comparison to a moment's association with devotee, because that will awaken devotion in us. And what to speak of worldly benedictions? You get this house, money, name and fame, these things. They are all meant for that, means today they are there, tomorrow gone. Ko nama tripyet rasavid kathayam mahata maikanta parayanasya nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur Yogeshwara je bhava padma mukhya. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna or Govinda, is the exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? They are never satiated. They always want more. They don't want anything of this world or liberation. Nothing. They only want nectar of service of Krishna, and they are never satiated. Always they want more, and they get new relish. But everything else is stale. You will become bored. You cannot be happy. So here, tripyat rasavid kathayam, rasavid. Those who are expert in relishing rasa, mellow nectar, transcendental nectar, they cannot have any other desire, and they cannot wish anything for anyone except this. So even Shiva and Brahma, they cannot estimate the qualities of Krishna. He's unlimited. So tomorrow we'll hear further.